Hello everyone, welcome back to the Spotlight. It's been a while since I've made a full-time video on the channel, so I'm going to quickly gloss over what I think about the transfer window. Then I'm going to get into the hot topic of the video, which is Bruno Fernandes. Should we have stalled him, and some statistics behind it. So quickly on the transfer window. Kuna, great sign, 60 million, it's what it's worth, no problem. And Bueno, I'm super excited to see him at the club. The deal needs to get done. It's dragging on for ages now. Why are we on to a second or third bid in 5 or 6 weeks? Why does it take so long to put a new bid in? You know what was rejected. It can't be that difficult to put the next bid in. We're talking about wanting a number 8. I 100%, I've mentioned it on loads of my videos in the past, think we need a midfielder, and I'll get on to how these players and wanting an 8 links to Bruno Fernandes. The striker situation, I think Gyökeres is playing us. Will I still take him? Yes. But clearly he wants Chelsea, PSG, Arsenal, anyone else who's in the Champions League before us. And the reason why he hasn't written us off is because if none of them go for him, he'll come to us. Osman seems to be done. Delap obviously went elsewhere. And then you're left with scraps, aren't you? I don't see Ineos buying Watkins for 40 million plus. He's 29. It's against their top. It's against what they want to do. And the keeper. We need a keeper. The rumours keep flying about Onana staying, Onana's going. We want rid of Onana. The fact of the matter is, get him out now and get another keeper in. So I want to get onto the hot topic because I don't really care about transfers until they happen, because every day you get some sort of other update that contradicts what was said the day before. So until there's some 100% confirmation it's happening, I don't really care that much. As long as they're in by the start of the season, I don't actually give a shite. One thing I will say on it though is Rashford, Garnacho and Sancho so-called rejected from the club and not allowed back in Carrington. I 100% agree with it. I never want to see him at the club again. Get rid of all three of them, and I don't care if we got no money for them. They're better out the club than in it because we're scrimping a few quid trying to get rid of them properly. Get them out at any cost. I don't care. I personally would rather see us buy Kuna and Bueno and maybe get a loan or two deal, and them three went and they were never coming back. That's my personal opinion on transfers. We're going to get into the main topic of the video now, which is Bruno Fernandes, and should we have sold him for 100 million? And I'm going to kind of keep my own opinion out of this, but it's going to be difficult because if you've ever watched the channel before, you know I'm not Bruno's biggest fan anyway. And regardless of being Bruno fan or not, I would have sold him for 100 million. And I think we're seeing it in this transfer window why we should have. Because we're scrimping around, clearly trying to do deals over amortized deals over 5 years. And Brentford have lost the manager, we're after the best player, and have lost one of the midfielders. They do not want 10 million quid off us. They probably want 30 or 40 up front to get him in. And you can understand it. They are being torn apart, Brentford, and they're going to have to rebuild themselves. But £100 million for Bruno Fernandes, pure profit into the club. And there's a few reasons why I think we should have taken this. Yes, he's the captain of the club. Some people would say he's the captain, he's our best player, you can't get rid of him. He saved us from relegation last year. He helped us the Europa League final last year. They're all reasons you could explain to keep him. I would argue that he is not captain material. Maybe he's captain material around Carrington and off the pitch, and he does all the media stuff well and gets the team together to go to a restaurant, but on the pitch, to me, he ain't captain material. Positional discipline is appalling. Like, actual discipline around the pitch is appalling. When we're 1-2 goals up, or we've seen it in the past in the Europa League, the Lyon game, them kind of games, the captain's supposed to take control of the game and kill them games off. Instead, he's still playing like a headless chicken, allowing other teams back into games. And that is not what captains do, I'm afraid to tell you all. Is he the best captain we've got? Maybe. I'd argue against it. Surely people like De Ligt, who's been a captain of top sides before, is more relevant of a captain, and I know he's new. Casemiro has won more than anyone else in the frigging world practically. Surely he is up there to be a captain, and that's probably it. Dolo even. And I know people don't like Dolo, but his professionalism is top notch. So that's a few reasons why you could and couldn't keep Bruno Fernandes. But I want to talk about stats, because everybody says Bruno stopped us from getting relegated, and these stats might actually confirm that, because most of his goals and assists are against relegated sides, which is what I'm going to say, because everyone says he stopped us from getting relegated. Nobody says he turned up against the big teams. He didn't even turn up against the mediocre teams, and I'm going to explain that right now, straight into the stats. So let's get this window up here, and it is probably a little bit hard for you to see. I do apologise, but this is on Transfer Market. He got 8 goals and 11 assists over the course of the season. Down here is who he scored and assisted against. So these are assists, these are goals: Southampton, Brentford, Leicester. I've got it all noted down here so we don't have to go through them one by one. So, of his 19 goals and assists, 11 of them came against Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton and Everton. So 11 of 19 are against the 3 teams that went down and 1 team that were practically bottom of the league for most of it until they got Moyes in. Let that sink in. 11 of 19, so he's got 8 left, right? 3 of them, the others, were penalties. So a penalty versus Brighton, City and Chelsea. So that takes up to 14, where a penalty, to me, you can't say, yes, he scored the penalty, he's got to score the penalty, fine. But he's not been involved in creating or scoring the goal from open play. He scored 2 free kicks. One of them was against Everton, so I'll discount that because it's included in the Everton stats. And the other one was against Arsenal. So 15 of his 19 goals and assists were against basically relegated teams, or they were set pieces. So you could argue, yes, he did save us from relegation because he made us beat the really poor sides. But is that enough to say that we should not? My point is most of his goals and assists are against teams that are really, really poor. So if we're trying to move up the league, you tell me, like, where's his goals and assists coming from versus not even the top sides. I'm talking about the Crystal Palaces, the Brightons, the Fulhams, those type of teams. He doesn't even score or assist versus those teams. West Ham's, the Forests. He did score against Forest, I think, but I think it might have been a penalty. But you get what I'm saying. The mediocre teams, he's not even doing it, and everyone will talk about the Europa League. He had the most goals and assists in the Europa League. Let's not forget the team that come 15th and 17th in the Premier League got to the Europa League final. What does that say about the standard of teams in the Europa League? I would put my hand on my heart and say that probably 95% of every team in the Europa League wouldn't survive a season in the Premier League. So again, all of his goals and assists in the Europa League are against relegation fodder type teams. And there has to be something in that. And there's people out there who will say, our forwards don't take the chances. They don't. I agree. But what clear-cut chances do our forwards get? It's always scrappy, over the top. You know, it's very rare we get proper clear-cut chances. And now, this is where I'm going to tie it into transfers. Because, remember, Amorim didn't want Bruno to go, and obviously the club said, if you want to go, you can go. Amorim was always backed him. Bruno Fernandes took 2 or 3 weeks to decide whether he wanted to take this or not. So it didn't come out on day one and Bruno goes, no, I want to stay at Man United. He took a few weeks to decide whether he wanted to take the money and run or stay. And some people might have said, oh, well, he stayed. I think he stayed more because his family wanted to stay. And Amorim said stay than he actually wanting to stay at the club personally. But we'll get on to Amorim wanting to stay right now because people are forgetting, right? Probably, I know the strikers may be one of the number one priorities, but we're not in for any of them anymore. The 2 first signings we've got in Cunha and Bueno, where do they play? The number 10. What is Bruno's position? Number 10. So Amorim's desperate for him to stay, but the first 2 players he signs are players for Bruno's position. But Bruno can play at 8. He can play at 8. We've seen it. He's amazing in the 8. No, he isn't. Not in the Premier League. He might have done it in the Europa League versus crap, and he's done it in the Premier League versus the relegated sides. But we saw it all of last year where Bruno dropped into the midfield in the Premier League. And where did we come in the Premier League? Can I remind anybody if you've forgotten? 15th. Says it all. Bruno cannot play in a midfield 2 in the Premier League. Not next to a player like Agate, whose ball control may as well be a dog juggling a balloon. You know, it is useless. A headless chicken, 2 headless chickens next to each other, Agate and Bruno. Oh, but Agate's energy is amazing. It doesn't matter whether his energy is amazing. He wouldn't have to run around like an headless idiot if he had any positional sense whatsoever. And then you put on top of that Bruno 1 minute is left back, 1 minute's right back, 1 minute is false 9. He's supposed to be in the midfield. So maybe you can let Agate off for running around like an headless chicken because he's playing next to Bruno, but all the fan base want Bruno to play next to Agate. Have you not seen enough evidence of Bruno and Agate playing together last season to know that it does not work? Oh, but Amorim wants another number 8. Oh, does he? So that's another position in the first 3 positions we're looking at buying. That's one of Bruno's positions. I don't get it. I don't understand this. If Bruno is that crucial and pivotal to this side that we're not taking 100 million for him because he's that good, why are we buying 2 number 10s and a number 8 to play in all the positions he's supposed to be playing in? Whether you're a Bruno fan or not, explain it to me in the comments, please. Where's he playing? If we buy Cunha and Mbeumo and, for example, we get Edison, where's Bruno playing? Or, for example, everyone's talking about Richard Rios. We get him. Where's Bruno playing? Because he ain't a number 6. For loads of reasons, he's not a number 6. 1, he doesn't come and take the ball off the back 4, 3, whatever you want to call it. 2, his ball retention is horrendous. Like, his basic passing is dreadful. 3, he's a Hollywood passer. So every time he gets the ball, he's going to quarterback it somewhere. And then you get onto the defensive side of it. He's positionally awful in midfield. He can't head, he can't tackle, and he's not quick at recovering in transition. Somebody please explain to me how we're buying 2 number 10s and expecting Bruno to fall into a midfield 2 with either Agate or Casemiro. I just don't see how it's going to happen. The only way I could see it happening is if we bought another number 6 that's actually a ball-playing one. Like maybe a Paulinho or someone and Bruno plays next to him. Maybe that would work. I still don't think it would, because I will keep saying it. We are playing 2 midfielders in the Premier League versus every other team that plays 3. Basic rule of numbers saying that 9 times out of 10, unless you can dominate the ball in midfield, you will be overrun in midfield when you're only playing against, when you're playing 3 and you've only got a 2. So that is what I want to know in the comments. If anybody gets this far into the video, do you find it strange we haven't taken 100 million for Bruno Fernandes, yet the first 3 signings we're going to make are 2 number 10s and probably a number 8? 3 positions that Bruno is so-called world-class in, some people would say. And that is where I'm going to end this video. It has gone on long enough. Please leave a like, a favourite, subscribe, and a comment whether you agree or don't agree on the selling of Bruno Fernandes underneath the video. And I'll try and get back to you all if you do. But that is some proof to me, statistics-wise, that Bruno does it versus the poor teams, not even the mediocre ones. And we are replacing him with players who play in his position as first priority in the window. Make it make sense. And if you can make it make sense, like I said, hit it in the comments. Boosh.